Hello, everyone. This is Lenard Guzman here on the Life After the podcast with Emily Robinson. We're here March 9th, 2021. Lots of things going on with divorce. I mean, it's an endless kind of like conversation, whether it's celebrities, whether it's court, whether it's Zoom. So what's new, Emily?
It's been so busy. I think people are finally getting back into litigating. The courts are now mostly doing Zoom. So it's so much easier to, if you didn't want to go into the court, you can still have your court date without going in. So I think people are really taking advantage of that. But yeah, it's been busy. I haven't had like 1 second off today, though I am working from home in my casual clothes. I needed a home day, but I still have like I have like 4 hearings this week.
Before we got on, I saw an article where a lawyer was charged for contempt. I don't know that's the kind of like your expertise, but on Zoom. So I don't know how that worked. Like,
was it a criminal lawyer?
I read the headline. I was like, whoa, this is weird because they're gonna have to have new rules, right?
There was a video of a criminal lawyer that went viral. It was a different state, but she was charged with contempt because the same rules of professional conduct apply, and she was basically selling out her client, and you can't do that whether you're on Zoom or not.
Okay, so let's get into the news. Let's see what we could dig up here. So this part of the show, we're gonna go over what's trending, news. We run into celebrity gossip. TMZ always is a good source for us, to kind of chit chat about and see what if it's really real, how it relates to regular people like us. So in the news today, philanthropist Mackenzie Scott remarries after divorce from Jeff Bezos. Okay, so let's talk about that. So when you remarry, right, it affects, I'm sure, alimony, child custody. How is it different? Like, what changes?
Yeah, so when you remarry, your alimony is typically, at least in California, your alimony is terminated. It's because now you have a new spouse. Your old spouse shouldn't have to support you anymore, is the law, thinking behind the law. So that would mean, that her alimony was terminated. Now, who knows what settlements people come to? I mean, there sometimes alimony is paid out in a lump sum prior to the divorce ending. Sometimes alimony can be, and this would just be by agreement. This wouldn't be by a court order. Sometimes people agree to alimony continuing even if you remarry, but in general, it would terminate when you get remarried. It doesn't really affect the custody unless the new living situation or new spouse is causing a problem or something to change or you're moving. In general, though, and it doesn't affect the child support because your new spouse is not required to support your child. The father and the mother need to support the child. But it definitely does affect the alimony.
Okay, so let's go over it. So I like how they call her a philanthropist. So I assume she just gives just tons of money away. I wish we got some of it, but
right.
So it's her new husband confirmed over the weekend. So teacher Dan Jewett, I think it's this partly like he won the lottery in some form or another, because teacher, like, I don't know, does he keep teaching? So the reveal came in a post on their webpage on the philanthropic organization, the Giving Pledge, started by Bill and Melinda Gates and Warren Buffett. I'm married to one of the most generous and kind people I know, and joining her in a commitment to pass on enormous financial wealth to serve others. He wrote, I look forward to the growth and hearing I have, the growth and learning I have ahead as part of this undertaking with Mackenzie. Scott's Amazon biographer has also been updated to say she lives in Seattle with her 4 children and her husband, Dan. The Wall Street Journal first reported on the marriage on Sunday. So Bezos and his ex-wife announced their divorce in January 19 after 25 years of divorce. The divorce settlement made Scott one of the richest people in the world, and Scott committed to donating at least half of her money to charity by signing the giving pledge in 2019. Jewett added his name to the pledge on Saturday. So yeah, so I guess it's a lump sum. We can assume, because she's not only like probably the richest woman in the world, but person in the world, right? It's probably like half of billions.
Yeah, but I mean, we don't know for sure that it's a lump sum, because there's so many things. There's a property buyout, a property settlement. There's child support. I mean, some people can live off their child support alone. I'm sure she probably can. There could be a property settlement where that's paid out over time, and that wouldn't be affected by a marriage. So we'd have to see their divorce papers, but that's how it typically goes. I mean, it's all community property, despite whether she actually earned it or not. She earned it by taking care of the family and having the children. And, you presume if someone's working as much as Jeff Bezos, then she's taking care of all the home stuff.
Yeah, probably multiple homes. Speaking of homes, I couldn't resist. Kim Kardashian, okay, will reportedly stay in family's $60 million mansion as a part of divorce from Kanye West. That's probably like a small city in some countries. $60 million. It's right, like some fort. Okay, so let's see. This is in Hidden Hills. So as part of her divorce from Kanye West, Kim Kardashian is likely to stay in the Hidden Hills, California mansion that she and West moved into in 2014, TMZ reported, citing sources close to the former couple in February. A representative from Kardashian West confirmed to Insider that Skims, I guess this is like, my wife was telling me about it. It's like, what's that? Spanx is kind of like that, kind of.
Yeah.
So this is the first time Skims founders filed for divorce from the rapper. The news was first reported by TMZ. So let's see. Okay, according to the source quoted in TMZ's report of the couple's divorce, Kardashian West and West are planning on pursuing a joint custody agreement for their 4 children. Kardashian West was the one who reportedly requested the arrangement. So additionally, the home is within walking distance of where other Kardashian family members live, according to TMZ, which may also be why Kardashian West would stay in what was her and West's home. I think like they could both live in that house comfortably. Like it's probably like on one side of the city and the other side, and you probably have to like take a car between like the guest house and the main house. So, but these are negotiated, right? Preemptively, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, while you're going through the divorce, their high-power lawyers will negotiate all of this. They can live together. I'm sure their place is big enough, but it's probably really uncomfortable. Plus, they have so much money. Like, why not live separately? They could do a nesting thing where he stays in the house, in the mansion when the kid, when it's his custody time, and she stays there when it's her custody time, and the rest of the time they go somewhere else. I mean, it's nice to have money because it opens a lot of options for them. People who can't afford separate residences have a hard time. They have to figure out a way to support 2 households. Do they want kids going back and forth? There's a lot going on. But the money does help. I mean, money doesn't make you happy, but it certainly can help by comfort and peace.
And a new husband, maybe.
And a new husband. I don't think Kim Kardashian is going to have a hard time finding a new husband.
Okay. All right. This is let's see. One more celebrity news. Who else is getting divorced here? All right. That's it for celebrity news. No more TMZ news today. So let's move to the show where we go over posts online where people ask Emily divorce advice. We call this part of the show Dear Emily, or we'll or what do you want to? What's a good? We got to think of an E, like empathizing with.
That's a good point.
We got to
I'll
think
have
of a
to think
catchphrase.
about
Huh?
that because E's a tough one.
All right, so let's
No, you
get to it.
can't.
Let's.
Dear Emily isn't. Yeah, we'll think of something.
We'll think of something. Okay. So yeah, this part of the show, we're gonna go over things, whether it's starting divorce, asking about child custody, alimony. This one, the first one, it's titled, looks like person might be venting. We'll see. She's transformed into someone I don't even recognize. It's been 2 months since the talk, and only 2 weeks since the separation. It's confusing. It's painful. She's dressing different. Her hair and nails are done. Rarely happened in our 10 years together. Even her clothes choices, music choices are different. I still come by the house to get kids, and I see boxes of new clothes and shoes. One box sitting there open with these knee-high boots. Another box labeled some sort of lingerie. Why? She couldn't have tried this hard when we were together. Now she's marketing herself for other men by acting like someone she's not. It's beyond confusing. It's a dreadful feeling knowing that some guy out there is get more of my wife's efforts than I ever got. I'm angry and resentful. I think about this stuff all day. Physically hurts, throwing away a decade of love, child raising, growth, and building to what? Gas like she's 20 again. It's unreal. All right, how would you handle this, Emily?
Well, look, that's a tough situation because, yeah, I understand how that person feels. I think the key to most of these things is communication. Like, I understand the pain and the frustration. Those feelings need to be shared with the other person, and you'd be surprised how frequently they aren't because you suggest it and they say, well, it won't do any good, or there's no point, or or I've tried. But that's where you've just got to have some kind of therapy or couples therapy, something to intervene and try to help. Like, it's worth it to make the effort to save things, to share how you feel, because there's probably a reason she didn't make that effort in the marriage, and he needs to find out what that is.
Okay, this one is a life after divorce. The next post, all paperwork is officially filed. I decided, my ex and I decided not to use attorneys to save some money. Neither of us have a ton of animosity towards each other, and there's no kids, so it seemed the best route to not pay lawyers thousands of dollars. But of course, the paperwork fund fell to me. So for the last month, it's been endless trips to court, printing and reprinting and modifying, reprinting tons of paperwork, and dealing with a family law court. And that decided in January was going to be the best time to shut itself to the public. No, I think it was COVID, but well, whatever. Well, I filed my marriage settlement agreement along with the judgment last week, and so far no one has called me to tell me it was done incorrectly. This was a huge weight off my shoulders, and no one in my personal life really gets it. So I wanted to brag here a little bit, hoping that the next step is going to be quick. Will it be?
Well, it's interesting to call it bragging. I don't think people typically call these divorce judgments bragging, but so it just depends on the court. Every court processing time is different. I don't know what state that's in. I mean, here in LA, it could take months to get a judgment back. It's because staff is very skeletal due to COVID. Hopefully, with all the numbers going down, things will get better soon. But yeah, it's been taking a while. And you may get a rejection saying some paperwork's done wrong. Hopefully you don't. There are ways to check online, at least in LA, to make sure it's getting processed correctly. So that's something that people can do as well, to log on to the website. And all cases, unless they're paternity cases, are public. So you can see, it will typically say if the judgment was submitted or rejected.
Yeah, I checked my DMV registration. so things are, yeah, it's like it's all automated. Like, where was this 10 years ago when it was like, it's hassle, like going to the DMV. I never had to wait in court, so I got lucky.
It would have been nice to have this 10 years ago for sure.
So, okay, let's see, what's next? Hey, we're getting our stimulus, so let's see how this affects alimony, child support. Does income earned doing overtime count towards child support? Roughly 1/3 of my income was earned when I worked overtime last year. Before I talked to a lawyer, I was wondering if you could answer this question here. And I live in Pennsylvania. So does overtime, how does that work? Does it go in it?
Well, it may be different in Pennsylvania, but in California, yes, it does count. If it's a very consistent overtime, like, every month you're getting overtime, then it's typically averaged out and put into the child support formula. If it's inconsistent, so just once in a while, like a bonus, even if it makes up a large portion of your income, then there's a base child support amount, and then the overtime or bonus is the other parties paid a percentage of it once it's actually paid out. That way, it's meant to be an order so that the money's available, at the time it's supposed to be paid.
Okay, so our last post of the day, this is a life after divorce one. These are always kind of nice sometimes. How long did you wait for the court to finalize an uncontested divorce? It's been a couple of months since all the paperwork was submitted, and there's still no news from the court. I've been reading many uncontested divorces are finalized within 1 to 2 months. We're already waiting much longer than that.
So kind of the same as that other situation. I mean, it can take a long time because of COVID. There's a skeletal staff in most courthouses, and so there just aren't people to process the papers like there used to be. So it could be a few months in LA County. I have seen it taking that long, and then so uncontested would be quicker. If it's anything else like a complicated default or something complicated, then it could be even longer.
Okay, so that's all the time we have for today. Emily, what's going on until next time? Because we do this weekly. What are the plans? It's like Groundhog Day.
I know, right? Well, my kids' sports are starting back up again. Things are opening. My son went back to hybrid school, so I kind of feel like we're getting a little more back to normal. So my plan is just to hang in there until I finally qualify for vaccinations, which I think I'm like the lowest on the totem pole for that. But hopefully soon.
I probably won't do it, but I kind of want to take like an RV, like from California, like all the way to like New York, because I feel like things are going to start opening up, and I probably won't ever have the time ever. But I don't know, maybe it's a fantasy.
You should. I have an RV and I love it. I've never had time to do a trip like that, but I would love to.
Yeah, maybe Canada. I've never been to Canada. Like, this is
That would
like
be awesome.
north.
I'd love to go up north. I've been wanting to go to Washington. You should do it while you can.
We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. With this background, I'm just like very like I'm like I want to travel now. I mean,
I miss traveling so much.
So all right. So we'll start a travel like kind of clubhouse thing. I don't know what they're called. They're like sessions.
Yeah.
For that.
Sounds good.
Tune in for that, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Life After D podcast. Bye-bye.